This program has been paid for by Strather Academy, creating developers within our communities.
Hello, everyone. This is Herb Strather, Wealth and Development Show. And thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to participate with us. Today, I have one of my very good friends, and I would almost say a regular guest, whom I'm really working on to maybe even co-host with me, Bruce Simpson. Bruce is very blue-blooded. He comes from a blue-blooded family, Barbara Rose Collins. But you know what? Before I fully describe Bruce, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, Herb. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. And there's something, man. If I was to think of someone that I would want to be an ombudsman, I can hardly think of anyone better than you with the background and your grandmother and stuff. I understand it's her 80th birthday. Yep. Barbara Rose Collins. This is the grandson of one of our great heroes in city government, who have proven herself over and over and over and over and over. And then she brings up her grandson, and he's the ombudsman at a time like this. And we really, 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 really need this. And I wanted to bring Bruce back on today so that we could talk about the things that we have in common and the advocacy from a public and a private point of view, and to inform you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to call everybody you know and tell them to get on the television right now. This is urgent. And Facebook, you do the same thing, because I want this retweeted out all over the place. This is a very, very historical discussion we're going to have, because we're right in the middle of the transformation of our city. And when we look back 100 years from now, when did the transformation happen? And we're sitting here and we're the participants and we're going to outcome. And how many people does it take to make a difference? How many? You know, the answer is one. You can make a huge, gigantic difference. And Bruce and I are going to collaborate. Bruce, we always tell somebody to kind of give us their Detroit credentials. Now, you've been on the show,
right?
But a few people may not have saw you the very first time. So I want you to take about 35 or 45 seconds to tell us about yourself.
Bruce Simpson, born and raised on the east side of Detroit.
East side?
Yeah, east side. Love the east side. Love all of Detroit, but love the east side. Born and raised. My parents come from Shane and Mack, Leland Street to be specific. That's how they met. They grew up a block apart. You already mentioned my grandmother's Barbara Rose Collins, who's held several positions in public life. We could talk about that later. I've been working for the city of Detroit. I started out as an intern way back in 2003 and worked my way up in the ombudsman's office starting back in 2007 to the present.
You've been the ombudsman for?
I started out at, so here's the totem pole.
Okay, you said at the bottom.
I started out here.
Okay, you started at the bottom of the pole. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Now we're here. So,
okay.
So literally in 2007, I got my start in that office. And in 2015, October 2015, I became the ombudsman. So we literally worked our way up.
Oh man, that's great.
That's thousands of complaints that I personally took.
Well, that is really good, and we're going to get into some of the complaints. But more important, this is a wake-up moment for us.
Sure.
And we're going to talk about and collaborate collectively together from a private. I'm a private advocate, the private sector, and you're the public sector, but our heart is in the same place. We do the same thing. In other words, we overlap, and our overlap is what we're talking about, everybody. So here, call all your family and friends, put down the knitting, the mop, and the broom, and sit back, get you a great cup of coffee, use the bathroom, whatever you have to do, but come back here in 2 minutes. We'll be right back with you.
What is this? A text message from the Wayne County Treasurer's Office about my payment plan?
That's right. Our Project Text Message program allows you to enroll in our free text messaging service. All you have to do is provide your cell phone number. I'm here today with one of our customer service representatives, Karim Howell. She will explain how it works.
Our customer service team will send friendly reminders and text alert updates about your current payment plan. Everyone gets busy. We want to help you stay on track with your tax payments to avoid foreclosure. Call 313-224-5990 to enroll in our voluntary program. You will receive reminders on tax payment due dates and other important valuable information.
Join Project Text Message today by calling 313-224-5990 or email our office at textinfo@waynecounty.com. Stay in touch. Stay connected.
Hello, everyone. This is kind of an emotional moment for us because Bruce and I know that if we succeed and we can motivate you Detroiters to get involved, that it's going to impact generations actually that have not yet been born. Because 40, 50 years from now, we're going to really look back and say, did somebody advocate? Did somebody fight really hard? What was it? Now, we know downtown is booming. And that's a good thing. In other words, it's a good thing that people like Dan Gilbert has come in and bought Detroit. Now, he's buying like a whole bunch of it now. It is a good thing that Cass Corridor, once the second poorest county zip code in the state of Michigan, is now the #1 appreciating zip code in the entire United States. That's good stuff. It's a good thing that this excitement and this development is spreading. 4201 on Jefferson, on Woodward Corridor, even Gratiot. This is good stuff. Here's the issue. We, as a community, the Detroiters have been here a long time. We got to wake up and participate. We've been here for many, tens and 50 generations and generations. Now the city is on fire, and Bruce, I think we're not participating.
Well, I wouldn't put all of it on the people. Yes, we need greater participation, but they need assistance as well. Part of what we were, and I don't know if you're ready for this segue, but part of what we were talking about off camera was identifying neighborhoods that are doing good and turning them into neighborhoods that are doing great. And what you were referencing was the Strategic Neighborhood Fund 2.0. Fund or plan.
Just so everybody understand, I guess with many of the corporations, Chemical Bank and others, they ended up about $35 million, right? And this money, thank God, is going into our community. Half of it is going into the Affordable Housing Leverage Fund. And then the other is going directly into the community, select communities.
Right, that's problematic.
Our goal as Detroiters, and this should be all Detroiters' goals, is to have a melting pot. When all of the smoke clears, we need a melting pot. And I'm concerned that that's not what we have now, that the way it is targeted, whereas, for example, it targets Rosedale Park and Grandmont, and then right in the middle of the community on Ashbury Park at Grand River, it stops. But the next block, it doesn't continue. At least it can continue down to Greenfield. Why would it stop? Why would it stop right in the middle there?
Couple things. I'm a fine believer in politics getting in the way of good government. Good government should provide resources for all, not some. So when you identify certain communities, certain neighborhoods, and say we're going to invest in that, what does it mean for me if I'm not in that community? That's highly problematic. Why do I reference politics? To me, and we have to look at things through a political lens sometimes, because politics is life, whether you realize it or not. Most people do not, but politics is life. You can't go for what you perceive to be the quickest political win. This is why you can look at some development and it doesn't make sense from a planning standpoint. So you could look at the DeQuinder Cut, which comes off of Eastern Market, which abuts a factory, which will abut some jails, which will abut Wayne State and Midtown. From a planning standpoint, it doesn't make sense, but it was the quickest political win at the time that you could achieve, so therefore you did the deal. The people that live in the community aren't interested in political wins. They're thinking about their livelihood. They're thinking about police response time, blight, and a whole host of issues.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, because I've had some of my Facebooks, my students, and just people that have noticed, like, for example, let's take Dexter and Davidson. Let's take Russell Woods. Okay. Now, Russell Woods is a very exciting place to live. You got beautiful homes in Russell Woods. And part of the funds targeted Russell Woods. Now, the issue is that it stopped at Dexter. Now, between Dexter and Linwood, just north of Russell Woods have traditionally been, they were the earlier middle class, and many of our grandparents and things who are 80 and 90, even Rosa Parks lived over there, you know, and the council people, many of them lived over there. They grew up in the neighborhood, and they were the middle class when they were first coming off the east side, blah, blah, blah. Now, right now, the area is challenged, but there are millennials that want to move over there. But the funds went strictly into Russell Woods. Now, ideally speaking, we would like for the funds to go to extend from Russell Woods all the way to Linwood so that we can develop both communities.
Right.
I mean, it looks like that. So someone in their wisdom said, you know what, we're going to do Russell Woods. We're going to do Rosedale Park and Grandmont. We're going to, and if you look at all of the boundaries in all of the communities, it appears that they just stop right now. They just stop right at the edge where maybe there seemed to be a high demand from the millenniums and what we want. But the question is, what do we do about it?
Well, you make it known like we're doing today. That's part of it. We have to start telling the story of how the most vulnerable are not being serviced.
Let me just make sure I get it clear. You said make it known. Our audience. Our audience should be aware of this and make it known to the administration and to the city council and to others that we want a melting pot. When all of the smoke clears, this is what we want. Now just think about it now. Like someone was saying, Herb, in Rosedale Park, Grandmont, about 90% of the people buying there is white, which is okay. I mean, because we have a lot of higher income moving back. I don't have a problem with that because blacks are also buying, traditional Detroiters are also buying. But if you go one block outside, then none of them are buying. When if we took and spread the money all the way down to Greenfield, then that would make the whole area hot.
Yeah, you have to have a desire to do that. Why don't we know what the overall plan is for the city?
Well,
from a development standpoint, shouldn't there be a master plan accessible to the citizens that they could weigh in on and say?
Well, I would suppose there is, isn't it?
Have you seen it? Now look, Herb, you're heavy in the real estate and development and all sorts of things. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen it, the average person, I'm sure, hasn't seen it. So the point I'm getting at is that the people who are making these decisions about what's happening in our communities oftentimes don't share with us the overall plan. You don't find out until after.
So as citizens, what should we do? What should the audience do?
Ask for those answers. Ask for that information. Without the information, you can't arm yourself and proceed accordingly in terms of your demands and what you think you have earned as a citizen over the years of your tenure.
All right. Now, I believe the administration number is 313-224-3400. Does that sound right? I mean, if you could just take a minute of your day and just call down and say, we want a melting pot. We want a and somebody's going to say exactly who is calling about this melting pot? And maybe someone it will trigger a response and say, okay, I got it. We want a melting pot. I mean, we are here to advocate for our community because I got to advocate for my grandkids. I got me a little baby just born. She's not even 3 months yet. You understand? So when she gets 25, I may not be here, but I want a community that she can flourish in and then she can feel really good. And I don't want her to be disenfranchised. You understand? We have a chance right now. We've got a chance because there was $1.5 billion when we came out of bankruptcy, right? And no debt. And why can't that $1.5 billion be invested in such a way to create this melting pot in the community? So I want you to remember 313-224-3400, and I want you to call. And some of my Facebook friends, you can start calling now. We would like a melting pot in our community. We want to take and make sure the funds are spent in such a way that encourages black, white, all of us to get together. It encourages the lower income community to be developed alongside the more prosperous community.
So you're talking about prioritizing our resources, correct?
That is absolutely right.
So bike lanes wasn't.
That's good though. I mean, but I understand, but it's good.
I want to talk about that a little bit.
We will talk about it. Okay, now I think that we have kind of made our public aware of the big issue. The big issue is that at the end of the day, we want some sensible regulations also, which we haven't done very much talking about yet, because one of the Facebook people have sent in a little memo and asked about it, and we'll spend a little bit of time on that, but mainly we want a melting pot. That's the theme of the day. Now, when we come back, after spending 2 minutes on this other issue, I would like to talk about the tools to use so that we can develop our community ourselves. Because I don't want to sit back here, Bruce, and you don't either, and blame everybody.
No,
we have the power ourselves to make a difference, and we sitting back blaming, well, they didn't do this, they're doing this. No.
We have to be mobile.
We have to be mobile, and we got the tools to use, you all. That's why I established Strather Academy. And I'm not here to promote Strather Academy, but I am in the sense that you could go there and get the tools and you could get the resources. There is no reason, if there's a vacant house in your community, why is it that you didn't buy it? You owe $80,000 on your house all up and down the street, and yet there's a vacant house sitting there in the community going for $25,000. Now you would think everybody would buy that house. Now, what is the reason? It's not credit. Some of you have credit. It's in our community, and you're sitting there and then somebody else go buy it, and you're ooh. So this is what the concern is. And by the way, the fact that you owe $80,000 on your house, the market value may only be 70, so you're under 10 grand. You're under 10%, 20%, 30%. If you're under, you don't want a short sale. You don't want to mess your credit up. Isn't it reasonable that one way to get back whole is just then to buy the one that's going for 25 grand? Doesn't that make sense? So Detroiters, we want to talk to you about, when we come back, the tools to use. The tools to use so that we can take and help redevelop our community and take our destiny in our hands. We'll be back in 2 minutes. This show is getting hot.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice, so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.
When I was in high school, I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home, and that's hard when you feel like you're doing it alone. That's when I met an artist. My mom, as I'll call her, she started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but your future is more important. She's my strength. Just being a support for those hard days and those hard nights, not giving up on me. Thank you to my mama. I wouldn't have did this if it wasn't for her. Today is for my mama and everybody who had my back. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Some people think, well, maybe it's really not that big of a deal, but it really is. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
All right, everybody, we're back, and we gotten so excited we probably burned up a little bit more time than we was intending to. So, Bruce, what I would like to focus on is the tools to use. Yep. And there are tools that the city have on the public side that people are not aware of. This is also tax time, people is in the middle of homes being foreclosed. Right. So can you tell us a couple of things that people can do who cannot afford taxes because, they're not aware of it? Mm-hmm. And then maybe, deferment or whatever. Can you help us out?
Sure. So there are a number of tools that the city has put in place for those who cannot afford to pay their tax bill. If you're on a fixed income,
yes,
you have the ability to have your taxes deferred. You have the ability to file for a hardship, whether you can be granted a full exemption or partial, depending on how much money you have coming in the household. You also have the ability to appeal your assessment, which ultimately determines how much your taxes are.
And that's a little late for the appealing now because of the Board of Review. I mean, everything, but.
However,
okay.
they adjust the tax rolls 3 times a year. So you have July, December, and March.
Okay.
So you still want to make it known that you're having this hardship or issue at any given point.
Okay, because actually there could be an error. They can determine it's an error in assessment and still adjusted based on that. Now, on the deferment, I think it's important that people will have to understand if you're having a difficult time and you cannot pay. Wayne County treasurer provides for you, and you can go straight down to 400 Monroe on the 5th floor. They will provide for you to defer your taxes. Now, they defer it till December, but at least you don't get foreclosed out. If you owe 2016 taxes, you do not have the money, and you're having a hardship, you can get a deferment till December. That would at least that would at least give you a chance, because if you can't afford it all, at least you can sell the house, get your equity out, or save your equity in some way. And if you are low income, if I can restate this, there is no property taxes payable because you are below the federal poverty level. Yep. Now, for a single person, that's about $17,000.
Yep, that's about right.
About $17,000. So if you're single and you're making $17,000, you own a home, you don't have to pay taxes. Now, it goes up. The scale goes up from 17 to 40,000. But at 40, you're a family of eight people. You understand? And there's blended families. We got 8 in the household. No property taxes. It means a tremendous amount if you're going to buy a home or something like that. And you can buy a home through a couple of the programs we're going to mention, and without having to pay the property taxes, make a significant difference.
We don't want to leave out our disabled vets either.
Disabled vets?
Disabled vets, no property taxes. You just need to fill out the paperwork.
And that's also for their spouse too, if right. They should die. Disabled veterans, you do not have to pay property taxes. 100% disabled.
Just come to the assessor's office with the city of Detroit and fill out
Room
the paperwork.
804. We want to urge you to please go there. This is very, 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 very important. Now, there are also things in the private sector to use. One is called NACA. Now, NACA, just look on your computer. Every Saturday, NACA has a presentation, and more than likely, there's a 50% chance you'll find me there. Sometimes I do seminars with Strather Academy, and other times I join NACA. So I could talk to people to tell you about how you could buy property without any down payment, without any closing costs, and without a credit score. NACA literally approves 100% of the people. Now, you might say, well, they'll approve me, they may give you some conditions. We'll approve you, but we want for 6 months for you to demonstrate that you can pay. And if you make all of your payments, then you can come back and we will approve you. And also, you could buy the interest rate down. Like a young lady was buying a property and her payment was $1,400. She was able to buy that rate down from 4% to 3%, and she ended up making $1,198. In addition to that, real quickly, I'm talking fast, Detroit Home Mortgage. You can borrow 150% of the appraised value of the property, because Detroit Home Mortgage, put together by a lot of banks, Flagstar, Chemical Bank, Huntington, realize that the properties are psychologically depressed. It is not possible, it's impossible, if you think about it, if it be a low interest rate environment, a huge demand, and low property values at the same time. The reason the low property values is because HUD and the other regulations, HUD wholesale properties for pennies on the dollar. They feed the market like that, and the banks get reimbursed 97%. 97%. You know, I wish I had 10 or 15 more minutes. We only got a few more minutes.
Right.
All right, now, but we're going to take a break for a few minutes, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up and sum it up for you, put it in a nice package for you. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Testing. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
What is this? A text message from the Wayne County Treasurer's Office about my payment plan?
That's right. Our Project Text Message program allows you to enroll in our free text messaging service. All you have to do is provide your cell phone number. I'm here today with one of our customer service representatives, Karim Howe. She will explain how it works.
Our customer service team will send friendly reminders and text alert updates about your current payment plan. Everyone gets busy. We want to help you stay on track with your tax payments to avoid foreclosure. Call 313-224-5990 to enroll in our voluntary program. You will receive reminders on tax payment due dates and other important valuable information.
Join Project Text Message today by calling 313-224-5990 or email our office at textinfo@waynecounty.com. Stay in touch. Stay connected.
So, all right, everybody, we're back. We got a few minutes. We just want to make sure you understand this package and some of the tools that you use. And we want to beg you to get involved in the redevelopment of our city, because it is up to us. We do have the programs we were talking about from the public sector. You could get a deferment of taxes. If you have low income, you don't have to pay any taxes whatsoever. If you are 100% veteran, you don't have to pay any taxes whatsoever. If you are a senior citizen, there's reverse mortgages that are available to you. And also, if your property tax assessment is too high, although you missed the assessment period, you could come back, because there's board of review 3 or 4 times a year. I think the next one is the July board of review. And they have the authority to lower your taxes even though you missed a review period of time if there was an error. So you got to be able to use these tools. From the private sector, you have lenders that are very compassionate. Southeastern Michigan is the #1 philanthropic area in the entire United States. Southern California is second, but we're #1. And the banks like Chemical, they've added up $40 million. And this this $40 million fund is there to loan you money over and above the appraisal amount, because we all believe, we understand that it's psychologically depressed, that these values are much higher than that. It's not possible that these values be still depressed after 10 years and nobody have any homes to live in. And the rent is higher than it was 10 years ago. So how could the rent be higher, the interest rate lower, and at the same time property depressed? What does that mean, the property depressed? For you to get involved and buy the property. There's NACA. Just look on the website and go and visit NACA. No credit score, no down payment, and no closing costs. And we could structure the deal and do a rate buy down that the seller pays for, and lower your rate to pennies on the dollar. You could literally have a $100,000 house and a payment of $300 a month on a $100,000 house. So we want you to get involved. Now I want to invite you to the Good Life. There's StratherAcademy.com, and we have some seminars that are coming up right now, and they are free seminars. For those of you who want to get involved, for those of you who want to become a community developer and wanted to have advocacy and help, and save people who's losing their homes. You can buy these homes back for pennies on the dollar and provide land contracts. And some of you have resources, Jordan. We're not poor. Somebody asked who got the most millionaires, Detroit or Grosse Pointe. We got way more millionaires than Grosse Pointe. Hell, they ain't got but 10,000 people over there. Just think about it. Of course we got resources. Of course we got money. And we can take and save ourselves. We can determine our own destiny. StratherAcademy.com. 313-444-9691. We have several seminars coming up, and we want you to register, because once we're full, we're going to notify everybody you have to go to the next seminar. So call right now. Go register right now. StratherAcademy.com, and register for one of the free upcoming informational seminars. These are for people that want to invest in themselves and their community. And listen, Bruce, I want to say thank you so much, man.
No problem.
You're my man.
No problem.
You're my man. Thank you so much. We're co-parts here. Bruce is the public guy and I'm the private sector, but collectively we overlap, and this is where we're at for the benefit of our community. Thank you very much. I'll see you next Saturday. Tell all your friends.
This program has been paid for by Strather Academy, creating developers within our communities.